before I get into this, I need to tell you something. This isn't some story I heard from a friend of a friend. This isn't internet creepypasta. This actually happened to me. My name is Gap. I'm from Thailand, and a few years ago, I moved into an apartment in Bangkok that I should have never, ever set foot in. I'm going to tell you everything, exactly how it went down. The weird parts, the scary parts, the parts I still don't understand. And by the end, you'll get why some apartments in this city stay empty even when rent's through the roof. Because sometimes, cheap rent costs way more than money. Here's the thing about Thailand that foreigners don't really get. Spirits aren't like a fun Halloween thing here. They're not movie monsters. They're real, part of everyday life. You see spirit houses on every corner, little shrines outside buildings, taxi drivers with amulets hanging from mirrors, old ladies burning incense at intersections. It's everywhere. It's not because we're superstitious. It's because we know better. In the West, ghosts are for scaring kids, right? You watch a horror movie, lights come on, everyone laughs, move on with your life. But here, ghosts are your neighbors. They live in certain trees, certain intersections, certain rooms nobody talks about. Hell, sometimes they live in your building, floor below you, and everyone just knows not to go there after dark. And if you're smart, you don't mess with them. You respect them, give them space, leave offerings if you have to. I grew up hearing ghost stories every other day. My grandma had a million of them, always about someone who disrespected a spirit and paid for it. Monks at the temple too. Friends at school swapping tales during lunch, trying to one-up each other with the scariest one. It was normal, like talking about traffic or the weather or what's good at the night market. I had my own little experiences growing up. Nothing major, you know. Shadow moving when it shouldn't. Cold spot in a hot room. That feeling when you know someone's behind you, but you turn around and there's nobody there. Or that one time I was walking home from school and swore I saw my cousin waving at me from her house window. Waved back, got home, found out she'd been at her friend's place all afternoon. Stuff like that. Creepy, sure, but nothing that really stuck with me. Nothing that kept me up at night. Most spirits mind their business, you know. They stay where they died. Old houses, accident sites, shrines. Under that one tree everyone avoids. They got their space. We got ours. Respect the boundary. They leave you alone. Simple as that. I thought I had it figured out. Thought I knew the rules. Thought I was careful enough. But some spirits, they don't follow rules. And some of them don't haunt places. They haunt people. After college, I did what pretty much every Thai kid does. Move to Bangkok, the big city, where the jobs are, where the money is, where you're supposed to make it, whatever that means. I got my first real job, decent pay, good company. I was pumped. Finally felt like a real adult, you know. First time on my own. No parents watching me, no curfew, no little siblings borrowing my stuff. Just me figuring out life in the big city. First thing I needed, a place to stay. And let me tell you, finding an apartment in Bangkok is absolute hell. Rent's insane, like offensively expensive for a shoebox. Everything decent gets snatched up in like hours, sometimes minutes if it's in a good area. So when I saw this listing online, 2-bedroom, modern building, great location near the BTS, and the rent was stupidly affordable if I split it with someone, I jumped on it immediately. There was this little voice in my head going, "Dude, if it's too good to be true." But I shut it down. I was young, optimistic, broke as hell. I needed a place. And honestly, I figured maybe the building was just old, or the owner needed to fill it fast or something. Logical reasons, right? I called the agent, professional guy, calm voice, very polite. He told me there was only one slot left to view the place. Tonight, 8 p.m. Can you make it? 8. That's kind of late for apartment showings. Most agents do daytime viewings. Better light, safer, easier to see any issues with the place. But I didn't want to lose it. So I said, yeah, absolutely. I'll be there. That one decision screwed up my entire life. I got to the building just before 8. One of those sleek high-rises, glass exterior, steel frames, fancy lobby with marble floors, security guard at the desk reading his phone. Looked legit, looked expensive even. Made me wonder again why the rent was so cheap. The guard barely glanced at me, just waved me through with this bored expression. Agent had already called ahead, he said. No need to sign in, just go up to 24. I stepped into the elevator, hit the button, started going up, and as the numbers climbed, I don't know, something felt off. The air got heavier, like pressure building in my chest, made it hard to breathe. Ears popped like I was on a plane or something. I told myself it was just nerves. First apartment viewing. Big move. Adult responsibilities. Normal anxiety stuff. But it wasn't that. Deep down, I knew it wasn't that. Elevator dinged. Doors slid open. I stepped out into this hallway. Lights overhead flickered. Just once. Then they steadied. Made this buzzing sound like they were about to die. I walked down the hall. Carpet muffled my steps. Smelled like cleaning chemicals and something else I couldn't quite place. Something stale. Old. Got to the unit. Door was cracked open. Not wide, just slightly ajar. I pushed it open and stepped inside. And that's when I saw her, this girl, standing by the window, back to me, staring out at the city lights. Long black hair down past her shoulders, pale, wearing this simple white dress, nothing fancy. She had her hand pressed against the glass, like she was looking for something out there. But there was something about her that I couldn't look away, She was beautiful, but not in a normal way, like hauntingly beautiful. The kind of beautiful that makes you uncomfortable because it doesn't quite feel real. She moved through the apartment slowly, touching the walls with her fingertips, running her hand along the window frame, totally absorbed in what she was doing. Didn't look at me once, didn't even turn around, didn't act like I was there at all. I figured the agent double-booked the viewing. It happens, right? No biggie. Maybe we just toured together or whatever. But something was weird. The apartment was silent, like too silent. Couldn't hear her footsteps, even though I just watched her move across the hardwood floor. Couldn't hear her breathing. Couldn't hear the rustle of her dress. Just this dead, heavy quiet. And the agent? He shows up behind me, all smiles and professional energy, and he's showing me around, pointing stuff out. Storage space here, great natural lighting, built-in closets. Check out this view. But he doesn't look at her, doesn't mention her, doesn't say sorry for the overlap, or ask if we want to coordinate our viewings. Like she's not even there. I figured maybe he'd already showed her around earlier. She was just doing one last walkthrough before making her decision. That made sense, right? Maybe she was one of those meticulous people who needed to see a place twice. The apartment itself was perfect. Everything in the photos and more. High ceilings, natural light pouring in, hardwood floors, balcony with an insane view of Bangkok skyline. All those lights stretching to the horizon. I could already see myself living there. Morning coffee on that balcony. Friends over for dinner. Finally having my own space. I'll take it, I said. Didn't even think about it twice. Agent smiled wide. Excellent choice. And you mentioned a roommate? Yeah. I'll find someone to split rent. That cool? Of course. Just send me their info when you're ready. Sign the papers right there in the hallway. Deposit. First month. Handshake. Done deal. I turned to take one last look at the apartment before leaving, and the girl was gone. No door closing. No footsteps in the hallway. No goodbye to the agent. She just vanished. I figured she must have slipped out while I was signing stuff. Quiet exit. Maybe she was shy or in a hurry. Whatever. Left that night feeling like the luckiest guy in Bangkok. Great place. Great price. Great location. Everything falling into place perfectly. Had absolutely no clue what I'd just walked into. Finding a roommate was easy. Posted online. Got tons of replies within hours. One guy stood out immediately. Let's call him Peter. Peter was perfect. Same age as me. Same taste in movies. Same work hours, which was huge because I didn't want some night owl keeping me up. Same sense of humor, which you don't realize matters until you're living with someone. And he'd just moved to Bangkok too. Small town up north. First real job. First time in the big city. Just like me. We bonded over that immediately. Oh, and he had a car, which in Bangkok traffic is like having a superpower. Late night food runs without waiting for a taxi. Weekend trips to the beach. No more being crammed into the BTS during rush hour like sardines. We moved in the same week, split the furniture costs, divvied up the chores. It was perfect. First month, amazing. Come home after work, cook together, usually something simple like pad krapao or instant noodles, watch TV, talk about our day, complain about our bosses, plan weekend trips. I felt like I'd finally figured out city life. We'd go out on weekends, night markets, clubs in Thonglor, karaoke with coworkers, normal young professional stuff. Everything was great for about 6 weeks. Then weird stuff started happening. Small things at first. Things you'd brush off and forget about. TV remote would disappear. I'd leave it on the coffee table. Come back 10 minutes later from the bathroom. Gone. Find it later in the kitchen or on Peter's desk. Keys would move. I'd hang them on the hook by the door. Specific spot. Same place every day. Next morning, they're on the counter next to the sink. Phone charger unplugged. Lights turning off by themselves. That kind of thing. I thought Peter was being careless. Using my stuff. Moving things around. Not putting them back. Normal roommate annoyances. Almost said something. Had the conversation planned in my head and everything. Hey man, can you just put stuff back where you found it? But then it just stopped. Just like that. No more missing stuff. No more weird placements. Everything back to normal. Figured we were just adjusting. New roommate things. Learning each other's habits. Then the noises started. Late at night. Always late at night. 2, 3 in the morning. Tap, tap, tap. On the wall between our rooms. Soft at first. Gentle. Like someone knocking politely. Or scratching lightly with their fingernails. Rhythmic. Deliberate. not random, like someone was trying to get attention. Few minutes, then stop. Silence. I thought Peter was messing with me, like maybe he couldn't sleep and was bored. He thought I was messing with him. We'd both get up, open our doors at the same time, stand there in the hallway in our boxers looking stupid. Was that you? No, I thought it was you. Well, it wasn't me. Wasn't me either. Every time we checked, it stopped. Just dead silence. Made us feel crazy. We laughed it off at first. Old buildings settling, pipes expanding and contracting. Maybe rats in the walls, though that was gross to think about. Bangkok apartments always have weird sounds, right? Comes with the territory. But the tapping kept going. Not every night. Sporadic. Random. Sometimes twice in 1 week, then nothing for 10 days. Never the same pattern. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Sometimes loud enough to wake me up. Sometimes so soft I thought I dreamed it. And it was always between our rooms. Never anywhere else. Just that one wall. Then one night, everything went completely to hell. It was around 2 or 3 in the morning. I was dead asleep. Work had been brutal that day. I'd passed out the second my head hit the pillow. Then bang, massive crash, like someone had picked up a heavy piece of furniture and hurled it at the wall with full force. Pictures on my wall rattled. I felt it in my chest. I shot up in bed, heart pounding like crazy. Couldn't breathe for a second. Thought maybe there'd been an earthquake or something. Then bang, even louder this time. My whole bed shook. Lamp on my nightstand fell over. It was coming from Peter's door, or maybe inside his room. Couldn't tell, but it was violent, angry, not like the gentle tapping. I threw off my blanket, didn't even grab my phone or anything, just ran out to the living room in my boxers. Peter burst out of his room at the exact same time, face bright red, eyes wild, hair all messed up. What the hell, Gap? Why are you slamming on my door in the middle of the night? Are you insane? I stared at him, completely confused, shaken. What are you talking about? I thought you were in trouble. I heard banging coming from your room. Thought maybe you fell or something. Bullshit. You were right outside my door. I heard you. I saw the doorknob shaking. No, I was in my bed. I came out because I heard the noise. I thought you were having a seizure or something. We stood there in the dark living room, both of us breathing hard, both exhausted, both pissed off, both scared shitless, though neither of us wanted to be the first one to say it. We argued for a few more minutes, going in circles, getting nowhere. But what's the point? We both had to be up at 6 for work. Eventually, we just gave up, went back to our rooms, slammed our doors, didn't say goodnight. I lay there in bed, staring at the ceiling, fan spinning overhead, mind absolutely racing. What the hell was happening in this apartment? Was Peter messing with me? Was I losing my mind? Were we both going crazy from work stress? None of it made sense. Next day was Friday, thank God. After work, Peter and I decided to get out of the apartment, clear our heads, not talk about the weird shit, just be normal for a few hours. Went to one of those night markets near Sukhumvit, you know the type, packed with people, food stalls everywhere, neon lights, loud music, chaos, the smell of grilled meat and pad thai and sweet rotting fruit. Felt good to be surrounded by noise and life, away from the apartment, away from the silence, away from whatever was happening up there on the 24th floor. Peter was driving, so he stuck to soda. Coke in a plastic bag with ice, real Thai style. I had a couple beers, nothing crazy, just enough to take the edge off. We wandered around, grabbing grilled skewers on sticks, laughing at the terrible knockoff designer stuff, joking about our co-workers, trying to pretend everything was normal. "Hey," I said, half joking, half not. "You think our place is haunted?" Expected him to laugh, make a joke, call me superstitious, roll his eyes. He didn't, just stopped walking, stood there in the middle of the crowded market, eyes scanning the crowd frantically, left, right, behind us, over my shoulder, like he was looking for someone specific or trying to avoid someone. "You good?" I asked, starting to feel uneasy. He snapped out of it, forced this really fake smile that didn't reach his eyes. Yeah, I'm fine. Just thought I saw someone I knew from back home." "Oh yeah? You gonna say hi?" "Nah, probably wasn't them anyway." But his voice didn't match his face at all, and his hands were shaking when he picked up his drink. I could see the plastic bag trembling. We left the market around 1 in the morning. Place was winding down. Vendors starting to pack up. We got in his car, started the drive home. I was tired, pleasantly buzzed from the beer, drowsy from the late hour. Leaned my head against the window, closed my eyes, engine humming, radio playing some Thai pop song quietly, AC blasting cold air, peaceful, normal. Then everything exploded into chaos. Thud, violent, bone-crushing impact. Car swerved hard to the left, tires screaming against asphalt. My body slammed against the seatbelt so hard it knocked the wind out of me. I opened my eyes, and I will never forget what I saw. Blood. The windshield was completely covered in blood, thick, dark red, almost black in the streetlights, dripping down the glass in long streaks, like something or someone had smashed into it at full speed, like we'd hit a person head-on, going 80. My entire body went ice cold. Breath stopped completely. Heart felt like it was going to explode out of my chest. Hands started shaking uncontrollably. I slowly turned my head to look at Peter. He was frozen, both hands death-gripping the steering wheel, knuckles bone white, face drained of all color, jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscles jumping, eyes wide, wider than I've ever seen anyone's eyes, staring straight ahead at the blood. He looked like he'd just stared into the face of death itself. "Did you see her?" he whispered. His voice was shaking so violently I could barely understand the words. "What?" I managed to choke out. Did you see her?" I hadn't. My eyes had been closed. Peter's voice cracked, almost broke completely. "There was a woman, right there. She jumped over the highway railing, right as I was coming around the curve. She jumped over and ran right in front of the car. I tried to brake, but I couldn't stop. I hit her. I felt it. I heard it. For a moment, neither of us moved, just sat there, frozen, hearts pounding, body shaking. Then we both scrambled out of the car at the same time, doors flying open. I expected the worst. A body crumpled on the road, blood everywhere. A woman's broken form lying there, maybe still breathing, maybe dead. My mind was already going to calling ambulance, police. How do we explain this? But there was nothing. No body, no blood on the road, no woman, no person, no impact damage on the car at all. I couldn't process it. My brain just shut down. We looked at each other in complete stunned silence, then both turned to check the windshield again because we both saw it. We both saw the blood. It was totally clean, crystal clear, not a scratch, not a bug splatter, nothing. But literally, seconds ago, it was covered in blood, completely covered. We both saw it. We both felt the impact. The car swerved. I slammed into the seatbelt. It was real. It had to be real. But now, nothing, like it never happened. The only evidence, long dark tire marks burned into the road where Peter had slammed the brakes. Emergency stop, full panic. That's it. That's all we found. Highway was empty, silent. Just the distant sound of traffic from the main road. Streetlights buzzing overhead, like nothing had happened, like we'd imagined the whole thing. But we hadn't. We both knew we hadn't. You don't imagine something like that. You don't hallucinate in sync. Something was very, very wrong. We got back in the car without saying a word, drove home in complete, suffocating silence. No music, no talking, not even looking at each other. Just the engine noise and our own panicked breathing filling the car. Every time we passed under a streetlight, I'd glance at Peter. His face was pale, blank, like he'd seen something that broke him. Got back to the apartment, parked, walked to the elevator, went up to 24, down the hallway, unlocked the door, didn't talk, just went straight to our rooms, closed our doors, locked them, even though we'd never locked them before. No good night, no unpacking what just happened. Nothing. I lay there in my bed, staring at the ceiling, fan spinning, mind going absolutely insane with questions. What the hell did we hit? What did Peter see? Why was the blood there and then gone? Was it a ghost? Was I going crazy? Were we both going crazy? Couldn't sleep. Didn't sleep. Just lay there until the sun came up. Next morning, or really, same morning, since I never slept, I made a decision. I couldn't stay in Bangkok. Not in that apartment. Not another night. Not after that highway thing. Not after everything. I needed to get out. So I packed a small bag. Just basics. Caught a bus at the terminal and went home. Not Bangkok home. Real home. The countryside. Where I grew up. Where my parents still lived. Where everything was familiar and safe and made sense. I needed to be somewhere with open sky, trees, fields, away from high-rises and highways and whatever the hell was happening in that city. But before I even went to see my parents, I did something else first. I went straight to the temple. The same temple I'd gone to since I was a little kid, where my grandma used to take me, where I learned to pray, where I felt safe. I didn't really know what I was asking for. Protection, maybe. Cleansing. Some kind of spiritual reset. Peace of mind. Answers. I just knew I needed help. And temples are where you go for that. I walked through the gate, took off my shoes at the entrance like you're supposed to, stepped inside. The familiar smell of incense hit me immediately. That sweet, woody smell that's in every Thai temple. I knelt down before the altar, closed my eyes, pressed my hands together in prayer position, and just prayed. I don't even know what I said. Don't remember the words. Just poured everything out. The apartment, the noises, Peter, the woman on the highway, all of it. Don't know how long I stayed there. Could have been 10 minutes. Could have been an hour. Time felt weird, but the whole time I felt someone watching me. Not in a bad way, more like concerned, paying attention. I opened my eyes, eventually, and saw one of the head monks, standing near the entrance, looking right at me, not staring, not judging, just observing, with this calm, knowing expression. I finished my prayer, bowed 3 times to the Buddha statue, stood up, slipped my shoes back on, started to walk toward the exit. That's when he spoke. "Young man." His voice was so soft and gentle, I almost didn't hear it. I turned around. He walked toward me slowly, barefoot, orange robes, one hand holding a broom, the other at his side. He had to be in his 70s at least, face deeply lined, but his eyes were sharp, alert, seeing. "If you don't mind," he said quietly, "I'd like to offer you some advice." I nodded. Couldn't speak. Throat tight. He stepped a little closer, looked directly into my eyes. "Wherever you came from," he said, voice barely above a whisper, "don't go back there. Not tonight. Not for a few days." I froze completely. I hadn't told him anything. Not one word. Not about the apartment. Not about Peter. Not about the woman. Not about Bangkok. Nothing. But somehow he knew. He could see it. He must have noticed my expression because he gave me this small, sad smile. "You're carrying something with you," he said. "Something that followed you here. Not inside you, but around you. Close. Very close." My skin went cold. "You did nothing wrong," he continued, putting a warm hand on my shoulder. "You're not cursed. You're not possessed. But something noticed you. Something that shouldn't have. And it hasn't let go yet." What do I do?" I finally managed to ask. "Stay away from where it found you. Give it time to lose interest. Spirits are like that sometimes. They latch on to certain people in certain places. Remove yourself from that place. They usually move on. Usually." "Usually?" He squeezed my shoulder gently. "You'll be okay. You're a good person. I can tell. Just stay here with your family for a little while. Let things settle." Then he gave me another small smile, patted my shoulder twice, and walked away, back to sweeping the temple grounds, like it was just another day, like he hadn't just read my entire situation without me saying a word. But for me, those words burned into my brain. Something followed me, something latched on, something from that apartment, and the monk saw it around me, close. I took his advice seriously, didn't argue, didn't question, just stayed at my parents' house for the entire weekend, slept in my childhood bedroom with the old posters on the walls, ate my mom's home cooking, helped my dad in the garden, watched TV with them at night, normal family stuff, no strange sounds, no tapping on walls, no banging doors, no blood on windshields, no feeling of being watched, just quiet and normal and safe. For the first time in weeks, I slept through the entire night without waking up once. It felt like being human again. Then Sunday morning came. I was packing my bag slowly, getting ready to head back to Bangkok, dreading it with everything in me. But I had work Monday, had rent to pay, had a life there, supposedly. Couldn't hide in the countryside forever, right? That's when my phone rang. Unknown number. Almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. It was the landlord. His voice was shaking, trembling, like he'd been crying or was about to cry. "Gap, this is Mr. Somchai, your landlord. I have to tell you something." My stomach dropped instantly, just from his tone, before he even said the words. "What happened?" Long pause. I could hear him breathing hard on the other end. "It's Peter. Last night, he jumped from the balcony. The police just left. He's gone." The phone nearly slipped out of my hand. "What? What do you mean he jumped?" "From your apartment, the balcony, 24th floor. Security found him this morning. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. Police said it was suicide, but he didn't leave a note. Nothing. I couldn't breathe. Literally couldn't get air into my lungs. The room started spinning. Peter. No possible way. He wasn't depressed, wasn't suicidal, wasn't even sad. We were just at the night market 2 days ago, laughing, making plans for next weekend, talking about driving down to the beach. He had dreams, career plans, family who loved him, a whole life ahead of him. How does someone like that just jump, unless it wasn't his choice? The funeral was 3 days later. I went back to Bangkok for it. Had to. Couldn't not go. His whole family came down from his hometown. Parents absolutely destroyed. Younger sister couldn't stop crying. Childhood friends all wearing black, looking lost. After the cremation ceremony, we all sat together at the funeral meal, one of those big restaurant banquets. Too much food, nobody ate. Everyone sitting around trying to process what happened, trying to understand how a healthy 24-year-old just jumps off a building for no reason. We passed around phones, looking at old photos of Peter, trying to remember the happy times, smiling through tears, laughing at old memories, birthday parties, camping trips, graduation, all of it. One of his childhood friends, a guy named Chai, was flipping through photos on his phone, showing us pictures from a trip they all took together a few years back. This was up in Chiang Mai, he said. Peter's last trip before moving to Bangkok. He swiped through. Peter at a temple. Peter at a market. Peter with a group by a lake. Then one photo made my heart completely stop. Peter with his arm around a girl, both smiling at the camera. She had long black hair, down past her shoulders, pale skin, big dark eyes, simple white dress. It was her, the girl from the apartment, the girl by the window, the girl who vanished. I grabbed Chai's phone without thinking. Who is this? Everyone at the table went quiet, looked at me. Chai's face changed, got sad. That's Elsa, Peter's ex-girlfriend from back home. Ex. My voice came out weird, strangled. Another friend jumped in. Yeah, they dated for like 2 years. She was really in love with him, but Peter broke it off before moving to Bangkok. Said he wanted a fresh start in the city. No baggage. My hands started shaking. Where is she now? Is she here? The table went completely silent. Chai took his phone back gently. She died. Few months before Peter moved to Bangkok. It was really tragic. How? Car accident. She was walking home late at night, crossing the street near the market. Car hit her going fast, killed her instantly. Driver didn't even stop. The room started spinning. Some people said, another friend hesitated. Some people said she did it on purpose, that she was depressed after Peter broke up with her, but nobody knows for sure. I stared at the photo, at her face, her smile. She'd been dead for months before Peter moved to Bangkok. She was already dead when I saw her in the apartment, and she was waiting for him. Did Peter know? Did he see her in the apartment too? Is that why he kept looking over his shoulder at the night market? Why he seemed so scared? Was she following him the whole time? Was she the one tapping on the walls? The one banging on his door? The one who made us argue? Was she the woman on the highway? Was she the one who made him jump? I don't have answers. I'll never have answers. But I know this with complete certainty. I moved out of that apartment the next day. Didn't even go. Back to pack. Called my parents. Asked them to hire movers. Get everything out. I never stepped foot in that building again. Told the landlord I was done. Forfeited my deposit. Didn't care. Would have paid double just to be free of it. Went back home to the countryside. Back to my parents. Back to safety. Never went back to Bangkok. Not to work at that company. Not to live in that city. Not even close. I found a job in my hometown. Smaller. Less money. But I don't care. Because some places aren't just haunted by random spirits. They're claimed. Possessed. Owned by something that won't let go. And Peter, he never stood a chance. From the moment he signed that lease, maybe even before, she had him. Was just waiting for the right time. This is real. This happened to me, to Gap, in Bangkok, a few years ago. I left to tell it. Peter didn't. And Elsa? She got exactly what she wanted. Got him back. Forever. If you're ever looking for an apartment anywhere in Asia, Bangkok, Hong Kong, Singapore, doesn't matter, and you find something that seems too good to be true, price weirdly cheap, availability suspicious, no clear reason why it's been empty for months, something feels slightly off, but you can't quite put your finger on it, walk away. Just walk away. Don't ask questions. Don't try to rationalize it. Don't convince yourself you're being paranoid or superstitious or whatever. Some deals cost way more than money. Some places take more than rent. Want more true stories like this? Real cases from across Asia? Subscribe to this channel. We post daily. Real warnings. Real consequences. And tell me honestly in the comments, have you ever seen someone who wasn't supposed to be there? Ever felt like something was following you that you couldn't see? Ever had that moment where you knew something was wrong but couldn't explain why? I genuinely want to hear your stories because I'm not the only one. I know I'm not. Stay safe out there. Trust your instincts. Listen to that little voice in your head that tells you something's wrong, because some doors, they shouldn't be opened. Some places, they should stay empty. And some spirits, they never let go. Sleep well tonight, if you can.